All right. Well, that's a real solid start to this review stream. Okay, so Disharmonic, few things. First off, I really enjoyed the intro. I'm a sucker for cinematic intros, so I really enjoyed that. The only thing that was a bit off to me was the length of it, and it lasted about 2 minutes. And again, if we had longer submissions, that wouldn't be a problem. But with that taking up 2 minutes of your 10-minute mix, I think you might be able to cut down on the time a little bit more, put a little bit more energy into that first drop by expanding it. And then when you get into this really slow portion, really soft melodic that we're just getting into right now that we won't be able to listen to, I think that'll really help with, the hills and valleys and energy of your mix. So past that, on the double drop that you did in the mashup, in the drop portion of it, only thing that I can really point out is just a little bit more EQ work. There was something that was cringing my ears in like that really high frequencies, and you might be able to take that out with some EQ. But other than that, really, really solid mix here, and I'm excited to listen to the rest of it. So thank you for submitting, and we're gonna move right on. Next up, we got Elijah Patchen. I, again, apologize if I mess up anybody's name here, but let's get right into it. All right, I think that is a good sampling. Elijah, I really enjoyed that. Let's get into the review of it. So, starting us off, I think using the first minute and a half as just being one song and not really doing anything with it other than just letting it play out as it goes, might just be the choice on your part. Personally, I would try to find a way to bring in elements of your mixing earlier so that we don't get a minute and a half in and nothing's happened other than one song. As soon as you started adding other elements, it became a very, very fun mix to listen to. And the arrangement of it is very solid. And most of my recommendations here are going to be more on the mixing side, the technicality aspect of it. So with the acapella that you brought in, it almost smushed the background music because everything was starting to hit the limiter. So I think if you're able to find a way to better blend the acapella on top of the instrumental, and that can come through EQ, that can come from volume automation, whatever you got to do to make it work so that not everything is hitting the limiter super hard and it starts to get squished, I think is really going to help the sonical aspect of your mix. In terms of energy, I thought you did a very good job of raising it up, keeping it there, writing that out. Not going to be able to listen to the full mix here, but I am hoping that we get some Instinct and some Silk feel and vibes in there so we get the whole brand inclusion aspect. But so far, 3 minutes 45 seconds in, we were rising, and then you held at a level that was very solid. So I think if you take it here, go down a little bit into some more feelsy music, and then end off on a high, I think it'll be a really, really solid mix, and I'm excited to listen to the rest of that. And hopefully you can get the EQ worked out on it. All right, next up we've got And Rue, and I think that's how we say this. Let's get into it. Here we go.
They say you will never make it, but your time listening to the naysayers, trying so hard to tear you apart. They play it safe to stay in line, but you run out into the sunshine, all alone to the beat of your own song.
All right, I'm gonna stop this here just so we can get feedback as we work through it. So I think intro was solid, and going back right to what I said to Elijah was the arrangement is solid. It's just more of the mixing that's in it that's throwing me off. So we're bringing in that acapella. I'm glad to see that you're using it. And over the top of Glow, it gets a really nice Silk feel in there. I just feel like everything's starting to get squished a little bit too much, and the acapella is almost too overpowering over the instrumental. And while we want the acapella to be present, we don't want it to be all-encompassing of the mix. So I think if you can use some EQ, use some compression work, volume automation, you'll get a really nice feel at that beginning there. The usage of the Crank Dat little vocal chops that he had in there, I think are a really cool way to start moving in, bringing that energy up. I think it might be slowed down just a little too much. Like, it felt off to me to hear it that slow. But we're going to keep listening to it and see how you bring it up. But getting out of Glow and going into that Crank Dat song, I think you're going to need to use some effects as well, just to make it all glue together. All right, picking right back up where we left off. Again, the acapella on top is just squishing everything else behind it. So again, arrangement sounds fine to me. It's just more of the actual technical aspect that's throwing me off. In terms of throwing an acapella over a drop, this is something that I've worked on for a while and gone back and forth on. Personally, I don't think it worked in this situation. If you were using that little vocoder like synth vocal that they have from the Another Way acapella, and use that and blend it into the drop, I think might be a really cool thing to do. But just adding it on top of the drop and not teasing it beforehand was a little off-putting to me. So watch out for that.
Feelings every time I look in your eyes, baby, I can feel your energy. It's making me realize everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I. Everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I.
All right, I think that drop switch can work if you tease it a little bit beforehand, because otherwise I'm expecting the drop of the original and then all of a sudden you switch it up and my brain goes, ah. So if you're able to tease that drop and use a build up a little bit more so that it flows all nicely, I think that'll be a really fun way to switch things up in the mix. Yeah, so I think all in all, I'm just going to stop it there because I think we're going through the same things again as I'm going to be talking here. But I think the main things to work on for you are just watching your volume of tracks as they interact with one another, and then also getting more fluid transitions and being able to tease the listener as to what's coming next, because all your transitions through this were very much rough cuts. And while that can work in live situations, for a studio mix it doesn't work as well because the listener is going to be sitting at home like I am right now. And so I want to be able to have it fluidly go through, and that last transition there I think was a great example of how you can improve this. Is even if you just use like a four bar riser from the song that you're going into, it's enough so that it's a transition rather than a jump cut into the next song. And I think that'll be a really great way to improve this mix, because you got all the right songs in this. Now it's just a matter of getting them to flow into one another the right way. And I'm excited to see how you're able to do that. So thank you for submitting, very much appreciate it. And moving right on, we've got Fortress next with their submission, and let's go. Yeah, so I think this mashup at the beginning definitely can work, just with some few tweaks on it. So first off, starting off, you use volume automation going from nothing to bring in one of the tracks. And to me, that was confusing as a listener, because I was expecting the initial verse from the acapella or song or whatever that was playing there, and then it just came in midway through the verse. So see if you're able to work on that, and maybe just start off with both of them playing at the same time. And then on top of that, the EQ work, it's getting very, very muddy in that mid-range just because of how much you have going on. So you're going to need to use some EQ to really clean that up, and you're going to probably get some dips, some nice cuts in there. Whatever gets it to fit nice and cleanly so that there isn't that muddiness, I think will really help out this mix. All right, something that I'm noticing that I discussed with Ryan last week on stream was when you got two songs playing over top of each other, make sure that you get the click or the kick transients to match up on the downbeat. Otherwise, you're going to get a pata pata pata, and then you're going to hear like two kicks, even though one is more ghosty because you've cut out the lows from it. So make sure that the transients are all lined up so that it punches at that same point. Yeah, so I think all in all here, that transition personally was very, I mean, that might be artistic, but I don't think that it works best in the studio mix case where we want everything to be very fluid. It kind of just came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden we switched keys, we switched tempo, we switched genre, and all in all, you want to make sure that at least like two of those are matched up as you move through a transition and just get that feeling to be correct. So I would take a look at that again and see if there's a better way that you can get from the first part of your mix into this next part so that it's not as abrupt. And then also with the mashup that I'm listening to right now, check your warping settings, because the tracks that you have underlying sound very, very thin. And the best way that I can describe that is it's like very tinny in the top regions because of how it's warped and how it's pitched. And you might be able to find a better track that's in the native key and native tempo so that you won't have to warp it, and you can get a more full mix going on here with the mashup. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to be saying the same thing here. Watch your kick transients to make sure that they're all lined up. And all in all, like you got the right songs in here. Like the feeling of the mix is very fun to listen to. It's just more on the technical aspect of how you're mixing everything. So I guess just practice at that more and see if you can get that cleaned up and get it submitted before June 21st. And I don't even think I brought this up at the beginning of this episode, but submissions close June 21st at midnight. So if you're listening now and you're still working on your mix, or you've already submitted and given you feedback a little bit more, make sure you get those in before June 21st at midnight Pacific time. That way we can make sure that we listen to all your mixes and get you as a finalist on this season. All right, Fortress, thank you so much for submitting. Not gonna be able to listen to this full mix, but I think there's a lot here that you can go back, relook at, and really make this mix sound technically good, because right now, again, songs are there, I'm really enjoying it, but just want to hear that technical aspect. Dan has just let me know that we need to also go over the prizes again, because I'm seeing a lot of new faces in the chat right now. So if you guys missed it at the beginning, just know that HyperX has come through clutch this season, and they're giving us a lot of stuff for our finalists as well as you, the listeners. And I'm going to go back to this screen here so everybody can see it. Let's see. Here we go. Yep. If you're viewing at home and you don't make it as a finalist, we're still going to be having a raffle for this Cloud Stinger Core, very nice piece of headphones. Got a nice microphone on it, so you don't even have to have this big mic that I got in front of me here. It'll work great for streaming, for gaming with your friends, for even just listening to Monster Cat music and enjoying it. And it's wireless as well, so that's great. And then also on our opportunities page, I'm just going to show off this microphone because I absolutely love the way that it looks. Look how beautiful that is. It's RGB. It's got a mute on the top of it. All you have to do is tap it, and a volume automation at the bottom, so everything sounds good. And yeah, honestly, I'm excited for first place winner to win this. It's going to be well deserved. This is going to be a very difficult competition this season. I'm letting you know that right now. We've got a lot of fun tricks up our sleeves that you won't see. So whoever wins this, it's going to be well deserved. Getting right back into the mixes, we just listened to Fortress. Continuing on, we have another familiar name. This one is Macwill, and let's go. All right, before we get into this next switch, I want to go over a few things. So first off, if you don't know, Lyra is one of my all-time favorite Monster Cat songs, so I'm glad to see it getting some love in this mix. On the drop, when you had the last part of Lyra playing, I noticed that there was a different sound that you were playing also at the same time of the drop, and I can't exactly describe it, but it was playing on the chord stabs, and it seemed to extend longer than the chord stabs. So knowing the song and knowing how it's supposed to sound, it was fun to hear something on top of it and added, but make sure that you still stay true to the original so that it doesn't take me out of the mix. I'm like, wait, something's wrong there, rather, oh, something's been added to it. In terms of acapella work, I think you did a really great job, and something that all of you listening can take away from this is everybody has to use one of the 3 acapellas, right? So either you find a really solid place to put this acapella that nobody else is going to think of, or you try to make the acapella your own, very similar to what Mac Will did in the build up, and use that fade out and low pass and made it very different than what the original acapella sounds like. And so that made it stand out to me, like, oh, they took this mix and made it their own. That's what we want to hear, is how do you put your artistic style on it. So I thought that was a really great usage of the acapella. In terms of the actual technical aspects of everything, keep working at the EQ. I think there's a few spots where the EQ gets a little fuzzy in places, so watch that. Try to make sure that everything has its slot, and let's see how you get out of this drop.
Riding on the big road.
Dancing through the streets, we wander, falling for the fire, burning at the heart, throwing hands up to the sky. Ooh, we live for the night. Ooh, here for the ride. I feel alive under the city light. Under the city light. I'm higher, higher with you.
Cause loving me is like easy.
I'm higher, higher with you.
Cause loving me is like easy.
Riding through.
Yeah, so that drop switch up there made me sneeze out of happiness. So good job. I really enjoyed the higher acapella over that drop, and I think, going back to what I said earlier, like sometimes acapellas on drops don't work. I think in this case it worked really solidly, because it's more of like a fun synthy, like melodic, but there's vocals happening, and then you were able to take the higher acapella, throw it over. Thought that worked well. In terms of the switch up out of the lyra drop into the next portion, I think you might be able to get some effects in there and really make it more fluid and flow together well. But past that, yeah, just keep working at the EQ. Check your levels on all the different tracks you have going on, because I can tell that you have quite a few. Past that, really solid submission. I'm looking forward to listening to the rest of this mix, so thank you for submitting. Let's see. Next up, we got Incognite, and let's hear what they have to offer.
We've been planning a getaway.
All right, so the first thing I'm going to say before we get any further in this mix, watch your levels, because right now it's hitting the limiter really hard and it's making your mix too crunchy. Like normally I describe a very heavy drop as crunchy and that being a good thing, but in this case, when you're hitting the limiter too hard and you start just getting too much sound going through and just like brick walling it, it doesn't sound good to the listeners. So watch out for that and just try to dial in the volume automation. You'll be good.
From your house into outer space. Much further than you know.
All right, before we move any further, I'm pretty sure there's a silk track playing in the background there. And with that, all I would say is watch out for the muddiness in the mids and the lows. Try to work the EQ on that. I'm going to keep saying it. You got to work the EQ so that everything each sound has its place. Because that Bad Computer song, it's very recognizable. And it was fun to bring in those other ARPs and the little stabs and such from that silk song. But just watch out for the EQ. Make sure that it's not clipping hard and it's not muddy in that mid-range. And let's see how you continue on.
No one knows we're so far away from home. No one knows we are further than you know.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna keep saying it. EQ. So with the acapella that you brought in there, very fun way to change up the vibe, but still have something to sing along to. And I think the best way that you can get it in there is dropping some mids in the instrumentals that you have playing, so that the acapella can really shine through, and there's a place for it in the mix. So yeah, biggest takeaway, EQ for you, and I'm excited to listen to the rest of this once you get some EQ work on it. Also, watch out for that limiter, because you're hitting it pretty hard, so see if you can drop some levels in there. Thank you so much for the submission, and I am excited to see where this continues going. All right, so moving right along, and a name that I think we did in our first stream, could be wrong, but we have Ario, and let's hear what they've got. We're going to skip to the middle of it because we already heard the beginning.
Here's to working every night, get new wrongs and make them right. It's a circle and it's a long way round.
Yeah, so I think that transition into grab it's actually worked for me. Like, it was, you didn't really need the teasing of it beforehand. It flowed very well with that effects that you did on there. I thought that was a really cool way to get into it. On the drop previous to that, I'm not sure if the little stabs that you had in there fully worked for me. It might be an EQ thing. It might have just been too much in that high frequency range. It might work. See if you can play around with it some more just to get it to fit in there a bit better. And watch that tempo change as you went into the drop, because it happened very suddenly. I think if you're able to spread it out a little bit more, you can still keep that same energy of rising up the tempo, but not have it be so sudden and off-putting. So yeah, keep playing with that, and we'll keep listening to it. Let's go.
But maybe I'll bend it out of shape and break it in half, then I'll escape and wander around where the top is always down. I'm dreaming of a Rolls Royce Phantom life, where everything is golden, rich and nice, and anything you want can name its price. Oh, I'm dreaming of a Rolls Royce Phantom
All right, so let's talk about that drop switch for a second. So I'm thinking the way that you did it is you sampled some things, you dropped out the lows, started to bring them back in, raised up the tempo, so on and so forth. I'm not sure that worked the best with what's currently here, but I think if you can play around with it and use that fake drop to more build energy rather than be like, haha, got you thought a drop was coming, I think that might really help this out. Use it almost like a second build into the next drop. And so like keep the lows in there, keep playing with the effects on it, but see if you can really raise that energy and get into that heavy drop, because it does come out of nowhere, which is the point of that, and I get that, but also like we want to make sure that we keep the energy raising. So see if you can play around with that a bit more. And thank you for submitting. I still have to listen to this mix in full. For everyone listening at home, obviously I'm not getting through more than like 3-4 minutes of anybody's mix here. Do not worry, the judges will listen to your mixes in full. We will hear everything. We will make sure that all the mixes are heard. So don't worry about that. Next up, and now I got to find it in this mix. Yeah, all right, we got DJ Big Homie Squats. I think I saw you in the chat earlier. And yeah, we're gonna play this mix. Here we go. And I need to skip to the middle of it.
Way too many faces in the crowd, but I think that I see you. One too many days got me changing up the way that I need you. Now we're both at a bar, acting like it's not hard, trying to feel something different. Talk to somebody new, kinda wish it was you, kinda numb to the feeling. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months and I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to.
All right, so on that drop switch there, see if you can still keep elements of the first part. I think that might really help out the lead, because the first one just has a lot more energy in it than the Potions remix there. And so see if you're able to keep the lead, because I think that lead is what really brings the energy in the track beforehand. And try to play around with that, some sampling, and see what you can do with it. Let's go. Yeah, so on that Pixel Terror track coming in, just make sure that you get your tempos matched up. Otherwise, you have one track coming out at one tempo, another track coming in at a different tempo, and you can't really tell which beat you're supposed to match up on. So just match those up, use some tempo automation. You'll be good there. Yeah, overall, I think the mix is really solid. Just make sure that you get a full 10-minute mix in here. I know that this one was marked for feedback, but make sure that you get 10 minutes in. Yeah, thank you for submitting. I was happy to listen to a different part of this mix and excited to hear the full thing. Moving right along, we got Vulcan Ron. Let's see what they got to offer. We're going to skip to the middle of this mix too.
I'm not finished yet. I'm not finished yet. I'm not finished
All right, so on that fade out, watch for which part of the track you're grabbing, because it definitely sounded like you cut to a different part of the track, which I do all the time, so understandable there. But make sure that you still get it to flow and it feels like that's how the song's supposed to go, so you might need to move it forward or backward just a little bit. And yeah, then watch that tempo going into the next song. I'm going to keep listening to it, but I thought something might be off there. Pitch. Okay, so man, I keep going back and forth because I'm hearing so many different pitch changes in these mixes this year, which is great. I think that's a very fun way that you can get into different different keys. So with that, I think it's the way that you use the automation there, and I think it just might be too much to where there's too much melodic going on, and when you change the pitch, the listener, and I'm listening to it for the first time here, I'm not sure where it's going. So it might be better to just use some effects in there with the pitch automation and see if you can play around with that some more to make it feel more ethereal rather than melodic based. I would also check the key of the acapella from Another Way. Something sounds off about that on top of the other song.
Press play. Don't pause. Press.
Yeah, so one thing I would watch out for when you were sampling the Another Way, when you have two vocals playing on top of one another, it's difficult to focus on which one I'm supposed to focus on. So if you have Another Way playing on top of play and they're both saying different things, it's going to be difficult to sing along to, and at the end of the day, that's what we want. So see if you can find one of the vocals to use there and run with that.
Play. Don't pause. Press play. Don't pause. Don't pause. Press play. 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 Don't pause. Press play.
All right, yeah, so on this mashup, watch watch how much you're hitting the limiter and the warping as well, because right now when both of them are playing, it's getting very squished and everything's brick walling. We want to be able to hear the highs, the lows, the mids of all the tracks that are playing like very crisp. So volume automation might help with this one. It might also help to just do like cut drops in there. Whatever gets it to come through in the cleanest way, I think is what's going to help the mash, because the idea of it sounds really neat. It's just technically it's not there yet, and so I think you can keep working at it.
I wanna hear what you got to say.
Yeah, and finally on this one, I'm going to keep saying it, EQ. You got to watch the EQ on this. It sounds like there's too much lows from one of them playing at the same time as the other song it's playing, and when that happens, it gets very muddy. So watch out for that. Make sure that you choose one of the songs to have that low register and have your bass kick through. So overall, very good use of tracks in here. I think it just is going to come down to the technical aspect and see if you can really hone in that EQ, get the volume automation right, find the warping settings that'll work best with the song, and excited to see what you're able to do with it. Thank you for submitting. And moving right along, we got Mastrino. Saw you in the chat. Let's hear what you got. It was a very fun way to play around with the acapella there. I enjoy that a lot. All right, so I really enjoyed that switch up there. The only feedback that I have on that build up is when you cut it, I would honestly add some reverb onto it to make it feel just like you hit something and now it's just present, but it's dying away, and then you bring in that side trance and just really hit them hard. So yeah, play around with that and we'll see what's going on.
Everything is new in love. It's stronger than the both of us. Together we can.
Yeah, so I think getting into this next song, heavy usage of effects is going to be your friend here. And there is a place where you can overdo it, but going from that really high energy to this really low, melancholy, like sad boy hour music, you're gonna need some effects to really help bring that change down, because essentially what happens, like we were here on it and then you just fell off a cliff and now the energy's like here, which is great. I love when we're able to bring the energy down in a mix, but find a way to get it to gradually go down with some effects, and I think that'll help out.
Spark a flame and freeze the world to numb the pain. I just wanna feel what I feel when it's just you and me. I'm falling on my knees just to see if I can still bleed. 'Cause with you I'm superhuman. Hope it's not a delusion. So keep me in this state of mind. Tell me that it's real. 'Cause with you I'm superhuman.
All right, I'll be honest, I did not expect to hear Superhuman played over a Silk record, but I am pleasantly surprised that it worked. And very much enjoy that. That was a very cool way to blend the different brands, and let's see how you continue on.
Miles of fire, I'm losing ground, and in the flashing.
All right, I'm upset because I can't remember what the vocal that's playing right now is from, but on that one that just came in, I think it might help you to use some reverse reverb. To everyone listening, reverse reverb is your friend when you want to tease things or have it not come out of the blue. It's a great way to just rise energy with the same note that's about to come in. And yeah, so use some reverse reverb on that. That's all I'm going to be able to listen to. Really enjoyed it so far. I thought that was a very good usage of the different brands and getting higher energy and then bringing it down low. That was very neat, and I'm excited to hear the full thing. All right, let's move it on. Ethani, we got you up next. Let's go.
They say that you will never make it, but you're done listening to the naysayers, trying so hard to tear you apart.
Yeah, so I'm going to stop it there, but I think that was a really solid way to bring the energy down, get it into some Silk, relaxing music, and then also using the Silk acapella that we gave. I thought was a very cool way to change up the feeling, but still have it very, very melodic, very emotional, and I really enjoyed that. So yeah, I think only thing on this, with the Tokyo Machine song that was playing, it didn't feel like there was too much going on. And that's good for some degree, but also like it seemed to last a little too long, and I think you might be able to use that time somewhere else in your mix. So that's my recommendation for you. Thank you for submitting, and again, excited to listen to the full mix. Mikey, you're up next. Let's hear what you got. Not gonna lie, I think I gave feedback on this part already, so I'm going to move right to the end. All right, so I think with this last acapella playing, I think it can fit better in the mix. I'm gonna say it again. Chat's gonna love me for it. You got to use some EQ. So see if you can make a little gap in that mid range just to get the acapella to fit in. That way, it doesn't have to be so loud, and it'll still sound nice in the mix. So yeah, play around with that. Let's see.
How did we fall when we are all we've got? We are all we've got.
Yeah. Okay. So you got it's ever so slight just because they're little stabs in the underlying track that you have playing, but see if you can find a way to just have the acapella of one playing at a time so that there's not two voices going on. Cool. Yeah, excited to. I mean, I guess I've heard most of this mix at this point. Really enjoyed it, and I will wait to see what the judges think of it. Yeah, it'll be final V3, probably final this time. It happens all the time. Anybody that's submitted, I'm sure, knows that. And yeah, I always love putting final on a mix because I know that it's not actually ever the final mix. Okay, moving right along. We got underscore Quantum, and let's hear what they got.
Too hard to lose. I feel your pressure. Don't care if I'm getting bruised.
I've been drinking, think I'm faded way too much. Don't think I'll make this on my own. Well, fuck it, I'll just say I don't know if I can go through this alone. On my own. Without you, I'm always in a nightmare.
Okay, two things. This is really funny because your title of this is actual, real, legit, definitely final mix. Guess what? It isn't. You got another pass to do. So with the vocal that you have coming on, make sure you get a dip for it in the EQ range. I think if you're even doing it right now, it could use a bit more, and that way it doesn't hit the limiter as hard.
Only wanted you to hear my sound. Battle is rough when it hit you
feel like I should be starting the Call of the Wild intro right now. Okay, so with this, on that last build up there, I think there might have just been too much going on, and that might be as a result of the different levels of the tracks that you had. I think if you're able to mix it a bit better so that each spot has its place, I think that'll work. On the drop, and when you were using the Resonate synth in there, really cool idea. I think there were a couple parts in there where the synth was clashing with the chords from the Pixel Terror song. So I might see a way if you can like resample it, pitch it different ways, really have fun with it. And then also for it to just be there in the first part of the drop and then not be there in the second, I was hoping that it would continue on and you would like play around with it some more. So see if you can do that. But yeah, overall, I thought that was a cool way to end the mix, and we will listen to the full thing later. Enjoy. Okay, got 2 left for you, and then we're heading out. Jonah Walker, you're up next. Let's go. Yeah, so I'm going to pause it for a second, but I think that's a really fun way that you got a double drop going on there. It's like, it's not too much where it's overpowering. It's just like there in the background and you notice it and you have fun with it. So I think that's mixed really well. I am enjoying this. Yeah, so I think on that transition, that might have just been too much loss of energy. You might want to use some effects to make it like drown out a bit more, but play around with it. You can get it to fit in.
The city carved a silhouette on the ocean after dark, over the lonely and the holy and the red blood beating hearts. Up from the dirty black water, a shadow void of form raised itself out of the river, and it climbed upon the shore.
All right, so I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect the mix to end like that, but I thought that was a really neat way to close it out and make it like very, very emotional. Somehow you got that Grabbits track sampled in there, and yeah, I thought that was really cool. The only thing at the end, I think the guitar might have just been a little too loud and a little, what's the right word for it? A little too much on the high end, I think, just to fit the vibe of the Silk song that was coming beforehand. You might want to use a low pass, and I'm gonna say it again, EQ. Try to find a way to match like the vibe of the original while still bringing in new elements. So play around with that. Honestly, really enjoyed a very soft ending, and that was cool. All right, last one to wrap up. We have Gabritiez, and yeah, let's go.
Did we take it too far to say? There is no secret.
All right, so I can't tell if this is just on label radar or if it's the mix itself, but it sounds like everything is a little too heavily warped to the point where I'm not really able to get that low end punch from the kicks anymore. So play around with that a little bit more and see if you can get it going. And also going into the transition that we just heard, the little piano stabs that you had in there, I think were just too much over the top, and it was probably as a result of the volume that was on him. If you can bury him a bit more in the mix and still have him present but not like in your face, I think that might really help it out.
There is no mystery at all. The love in each of us is all we really need to know.
Break away, break away, break away from the chains, from the core. Break away, break away from the chains, from the
I know that you
All right, so there's a lot going on here, so let's break it down for a moment. So first off, with all the tracks that you have going, I think it goes back to the warping issue, because I'm not hearing like a lot of low on it, and that may be EQ, but I think it's coming down to the warping and how you have everything pitched. So watch out for that. In terms of lining up the kick transients, I think you got to work on that a little bit more so that we actually get like the solidified kick rather than the ba-da, 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 that'll offset everything. And really focus on, and this is something that took me a while to figure out as well, you want to have like one underlying element that is your hook, so to speak, for the mashup, and make that the focus so that everything around it complements it, and it doesn't just like switch to switch to switch to switch just for the sake of switching up and doing different drop cuts. So see if you can really find a way to make the mashups feel like a song rather than a mashup, and I think that'll really help out this part. So I think that was a really good example of how you can do exactly what I just said with the last smash. Is like the Ace Aura track in the background with Tynan is definitely like the focus, but you're adding in elements to really spice it up and make it sound different, but still one song in the, I can't talk, just like make it sound like an original song, but it's just a mashup. On the build up, I think there might have just been too much going on in the high frequency range, so using EQ to dial that in and really make it so that it's not overly crisp. Like, we still want the highs to be there, but we don't want too much high to be there. And yeah, I think that is more than enough for you to keep working at this. We're all watching the stream right now. Thank you so much for coming and listening to this. I hope you all got some feedback. If I listen to your mix, hopefully you're able to take that and make your mix even better than it already was. If you didn't submit a mix, there's still time. Get it in by June 21st by midnight Pacific. We won't be doing any more review streams, but hopefully if you go back and watch these videos later on our Twitch channel, you'll be able to learn all the different things that I'm looking out for as one of the selectors for the finalists this year, and you can take that away and make your mix even better. Quick overview of everything we got going on. We'll be running the actual mix contest in a few weeks, so be on the lookout for that. Make sure you follow Monstercat's socials to know when the first episode is coming up. And also, I saw a lot in the chat today. Monstercat was asking, "Are you ready?" So if you don't know what that's in reference to, I would recommend checking it out, because something big is coming. I can't say what, but we have a lot of fun things in store for you all. And finishing up, if you weren't here at the beginning, we got our first batch of prizes announced for this year of the Mix Contest, which were very nicely supplied by HyperX, and I'll go over those again real quickly for you all. So every finalist this year will get a HyperX logo t-shirt. Third place will get our Cloud Alpha headset and a SoloCast microphone. Second place, a Cloud Alpha S headset and a Quadcast microphone. And first place, and this is where the real kicker comes in, a Cloud Mix headset, Alloy FPS RGB keyboard, a Quadcast S RGB mic, a Pulsefire Surge mouse, and a Fury Ultra RGB mouse pad. So there is a lot up for grabs in this season. Like I said earlier, there's going to be a lot more twists and turns than seasons. So if you are selected as a finalist, strap in, because it's going to be a fun season. Unless you guys have any questions at the chat, I think we're going to wrap up here. And thank you for coming. Very much enjoyed doing these review streams. It was great to talk to you all in the chat, give you all feedback. And until next time, this has been Rocketman signing off. See ya!
Let me think for a second now. Catch my breath. Yeah, I gotta slow down. Cause when you're near, everything that I planned just goes away.